All right, Cheryl asks, I have recently been told that the Holy Spirit is feminine in Hebrew. Well, that is true, but here's the catch. There are a lot of things that are feminine in Hebrew, but it doesn't make them necessarily a feminine thing. And I'm gonna switch over to Spanish for just a moment because a lot of people, probably more people know Spanish than they know Hebrew. Let's take the word table, okay, mesa. All right, so mesa is feminine. All right, why is it feminine? I don't know, because it is, right? And now, does that mean that there's something feminine about the table? No, it's just in Spanish we divide the world of words into masculine words and feminine words, and it doesn't mean that there's anything intrinsically masculine or male about that. Okay, there's no phallus or something like that, and if something is feminine, it doesn't mean that there's some kind of a womb or some kind of female genitalia. It has nothing to do with that. Right? It's just that words are divided into masculine words and feminine words, and so words that typically end in an o in Spanish are masculine, and words that end in an a are typically feminine. That's just how it is, all right? And it has nothing to do with the actual object, right? So again, mesa doesn't mean that there's a feminine quality, a female quality about tables. Okay, they're just there's nothing about that, right? You could take the word zapatos, right, which is shoes, and that's masculine. Ooh, there's something we could start getting all fancy and creative and making up weird ideas about why is shoe actually masculine. Well, I don't know, right? And we could come up with some really weird ideas, but they would be wrong because it just so happens that shoes are masculine and table is feminine, and it has nothing to do with whether it is necessarily feminine or not. So we come to the word ruach, right? The word ruach, and of course it's Ruach HaKodesh. So ruach means wind, it means breath, and it means spirit. All right, so let's take another word, spirit, for just a moment. Let's just take the word wind, right? The word wind, ruach, is feminine. And just think about the wind that's blowing outside your house. Is there anything necessarily feminine about that? I don't think so. I mean, not that I can see, right? There's nothing particularly feminine about that word. Now we can take that same word and put it in Spanish, viento, right? El viento, and el viento is masculine. Well, why is it masculine in Spanish and it's feminine in Hebrew? Just because that particular word happens to be feminine in Hebrew. Although it is interesting that the word ruach most of the time is feminine in the Bible, but there's a few cases where it's masculine. And why is that? I wouldn't put any theological reason on it. I would suggest that the word got confused sometimes, and the speakers were just not really sure whether it was masculine or feminine. The challenge with the word ruach is that it does not have what looks to be a feminine ending on it. In most cases in Hebrew, you're going to have a feminine word is going to either end in an a, or it'll have a t, a t, a tav at the end of it, and that will give you the clue that we're talking about something that is feminine. And so ruach does not have either an a or a tav at the end to give you the clue that it's feminine. And so that's probably why some of the biblical authors um, put a masculine adjective that went after that, but not because the Holy Spirit couldn't decide, right? It's a grammar thing. It's not a theological thing, and that's really why we want to study the ancient languages, because so many of the Bible difficulties and these weird questions that get out into the mainstream, and then you start hearing teachers making some really weird, bizarre kind of claims about them, is because they're taking grammar and they're making grammar into theology, right? Now, our theology should come out of the grammar, but what happens is people already have their theology and then they try to force it on to the grammar, or they don't even look at the grammar. They're just like, I don't care about grammar, but I heard that it's feminine, and so there you go. So that's kind of the story behind the word ruach, and I thank you for asking that. It's a great question.